We drink tequila. We talk. Welcome to Team Tequila Talks.
So this is, this is why we need to just do a little sip and cruise.
Holy smokes, let's start.
Yeah.
We definitely need to start with a big breath and cheers. And we're going to set an amazing, oh my God.
Look, do not start with this shit.
Cheers.
They say if you don't look at people's eyes, you get bad sex for 7 years. I think that happened to me once, so I don't want to do
Well,
that.
I've had
7
bad
years?
sex already before that.
7 years seems like a long time.
Like today?
Maybe 7
Today?
months.
Was your bad sex today?
You had bad sex today?
Not yet.
Oh.
Well, that is a very interesting welcome to Team Tequila Talks. Cassandra Gina Mal and Sharon Gonzalez with our resident guest from the House of Strong, Mark Strong, and we are so lucky to have our international guest, Dr. Genieve Burley House, who is a dear friend of mine and ours, and also an all-around wellness expert. Just backgrounds in anything wellness you can think of: chiropractic, yoga, breath work, fitness, muscle development and nutrition and supplementation. And if you've heard of it in the wellness world, Dr. Genieve has done it.
Thank you.
She's the queen.
I love that intro.
Well, she also loves tequila, which is why we're happy to have her here from another country. Yes, Canada still counts as another country.
Is it though?
I think it is.
Do you need a passport to go there?
Yes, but you can still get the same products.
Well, not Koso, right? We were just
True.
talking about some of our favorite supplements, and would you said it was more expensive to ship it to Canada than it was to purchase the
Almost
product.
double.
We love
what's
Koso.
What is Koso, Mark?
So Koso is a fermented drink with over 100 plus fruits and veggies, and it takes over a year to make. It has prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics.
That's amazing because it takes over a year to get to Canada, too. They can just ferment it on the way.
Right? Just put it in the process.
Oh,
Put it
it's
in the
ready.
works. It's ready. Ding, ding.
We are with our special guest in from Canada. We've had a rough start this morning. There have been a lot of hiccups in our day in general. And so I think that this is just, let's do a double cheers to set a doubly good intention here.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And we're here. We're happy to have you here. And we're just sipping on this Rosè Reposado tequila. And it's an interesting tequila because you don't see a ton of Rosè Reposado at all.
Yeah, what makes it rosé?
It
Red.
is pink. Take a look at it.
No, I know, but what
Red
gives it the
wine,
pink?
red
Pink
wine,
cactus?
red wine barrels.
Oh, wow.
It's Blanco tequila that they then think 4-year aged, and then they put it in red wine barrels, and then that sits there for like another year, and then they strain it through like a charcoal process. Komo's is Mediterranean inspired, and this one process when they strain it through the charcoal, and then they put it in these. Now I don't know how to pronounce this, so obviously it's me pronouncing this. Amphore. They're Greek amphore bottles.
I don't know that word either. This
Yeah.
is one of our favorite things to do at Team Tequila Talks is to Google shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look up how to pronounce things because we want to encourage everybody to explore and discover on your journey with tequila. So,
Yeah, and basically they're huge. So
Are we taking a foray into the foray?
Yes.
amorphore?
Yes. I say amphore, so that's what it's going to be called today.
Let me check.
Okay,
this out.
people?
This is beautiful, though, and rosé is going to get all the Karens excited across both nations.
True fact.
I don't know if you can get this in Canada yet, so maybe
Probably
this
not.
will be a nice preview and
The
something you
default
can look
response
for.
is no.
And foray.
Amphore. It's Greek.
Amphore.
Oh, you've been to
Amphore.
Mykonos. He's half Greek. He's been to Mykonos.
He's
Going
Greek
from
from the belt
Mykonos
down.
doesn't make you half Greek.
No, it does.
I don't think so. I don't think if you get a percentage from going to a country, I mean,
I guess you're Canadian.
well, I'm kind of Canadian anyway by association,
Well, you
by
gotta-
marriage and by
No,
child.
you have a lot of Canadian in you.
Oh.
How long have you lived in
Did we
Canada?
just up the
Yeah.
rating on this podcast?
I think we did. I think I kept
PG-13
that
to
up.
R.
Yeah.
Let me finish telling the people.
You're
Okay,
referring
so
to the
these-
child I grew, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So the amphora bottles are, think, a large wooden vase that's tilted on its side, and then they allow in a certain amount of oxygen and rotate and rock these large barrels, and basically it gives it a round, smooth flavor with the slightest impression of sweet.
So is this a Greek tequila?
No, it's Mediterranean inspired. It's in Jalisco, Mexico.
Okay.
And they still do the volcanic ash, all the
Yeah.
things with the agave, 100% agave. They do the same process, but they don't do the ceramic pots that they normally do, the ovens.
Yeah.
They do this whole process. The Mediterranean process is the charcoal column, which removes the impurities, creating a smooth kind of Cristalino kind of vibe. Yeah.
So it's a Greek family, and they loved tequila and wanted to distill in the style of a Mediterranean liquor.
Okay.
So even the bottle, can you grab the bottle? I mean, you can refill us anyway. I know it's early for a refill, but it's been a day.
Well, mine's almost empty.
It has been a day.
Yeah.
So this is the Rosè Reposado Rosa. So the Rosè Reposado. And you can see that the bottle, this is Casa Komo's tequila. They also have an Anejo Cristalino, which we're going to get to that in a minute because that's a new fun trend in tequila as well, which our friend Annie from Evian introduced us to. And we're going to work our way toward that too. But we thought that this one was really interesting because neither of us had ever actually seen a Rosè Reposado.
It's gorgeous, and the bottle's even.
It's very
beautiful,
Mediterranean,
too.
right?
So
It's
here-
very green.
You see, this is the sun.
Oh yeah, just
That's the sun, and here is the salt on this side, and this is the sea on this
The
side,
sea.
which are all, as we know,
This
Greek.
is some Fifth Element shit.
Yes,
It's
Greek.
Lulu, Dallas, Multipass.
Yeah, so they use Greek.
God, I fucking love that movie so much.
So these are Greek symbols, Mediterranean Greek symbols that they put on the bottle, but these are handcrafted bottles in Mexico.
Another interesting thing about this bottle that I'm seeing right now, this is only batch number 3. 003. So this is some new shit right here. And they have the bottle number, it's written in a pen. This is handwritten. And it says
I would
batch,
argue marker.
batch number 3. This looks like a ballpoint pen.
Yes.
It does. Certified gluten-free, just another benefit of
Yeah.
tequila. So it's hecho in Mexico, meaning it is definitely made in Mexico. However, this is a Mediterranean Greek family, and they wanted to use processes that are similar to the Mediterranean style. I think the rosé is interesting.
And what's the
'cause-
price point? Is this like
What was this? Like $80, $90?
Mm-hmm. It's $100.
Was it $100?
so about
Yep.
200 Canadian?
People, things in Canada.
6,000 Canadian.
Yeah.
Things in Canada are slightly more expensive than here in the U.S.
A little bit.
A little bit.
This bottle is made in Mexico, though, and on their website, they keep saying we are Mediterranean inspired. They do not want to impede on the tequila processes.
This is only batch number 3. 003. So this is some new shit right here.
They wanted to make sure their tequila could be called tequila.
Well, and the council's very strict with that.
Very strict. So they were going to say Mediterranean tequila, and it's a heck no. So they said Mediterranean inspired tequila.
Yeah.
Do
fair.
you think that the council, like when I hear the council of tequila, I think that they should be like in robes.
Yeah,
Black robes
absolutely.
with hoods.
Or like
Yeah.
wigs at like they do in European
Oh,
courts, right?
yes.
In British courts. I just feel like the council, the tequila
council.
council, there should be something ceremonial
Agreed.
to it. If not, just
we should look up the members.
we'll put
Okay.
it. We're gonna put it in the comment suggestion box.
So
Yes.
you have this gorgeous bottle. What's to the team where you're going to use one as a vase? Would you put out this one with a vase, or would you do your Casamigos kind of classic blue and white?
Well, Casamigos is clear. Clase Azul
Right.
is the blue and
Yeah.
white, and it's the standard Komos bottle.
My
is
ignorance is showing.
much more like the Clase Azul bottle.
Yes,
it's
blue.
very much that white and Mediterranean
Yeah.
blue. This bottle happens to be pink because it is a Rosé Reposado. The Anejo Cristalino bottle, also by Komos, is silver, clear, right?
Yes.
So I think it depends on what variety you're working with, but either way you can see the Mediterranean inspiration regardless of the
Yeah.
color.
It's a beautiful bottle.
It is a beautiful bottle.
It really is.
And I like natural materials, like glass I would take this over glass any day, but no plastic things.
No, I mean,
No.
tequila and plastic, is that a thing?
No.
Well, probably.
Well, one thing that a lot of people, I don't think that are aware of, have you ever seen a water bottle? I'm talking about your run of the mill when you were a kid at a soccer game, or you're at a concert or special event, and it'll say, if you notice on the label, it'll say expiration date, and it's usually like 2 years from then.
Yeah.
And I remember being a kid and always thinking, why the F does water expire?
Because the plastic leaches
The
into
plastic
yeah.
leaches into the water,
Yeah.
especially if you are driving around in your car and you have this same old plastic water bottle
Yeah.
that you're filling
And it's
up
been
again
and you live in
again.
California.
And it's heated, which
Yeah.
is a no-no.
That,
Yep.
yeah.
The sun comes in and the sun it bakes that plastic, changes the composition, releases the microtoxins and microplastics into the water. And that is what makes water expire.
Yeah, so it's like enjoy your cancer with your hydration.
Well, here at Team Tequila Talks, we always talk about balance.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in
Maybe not in that
right in
respect.
California, there was just recently an article, and I just looked it up because I was like, I just heard about microplastics in the water in California. There are microplastics. I mean, obviously we live by the water, by the ocean, but the amount of microplastics is like federally mandated and also state, and it's above the limit, and it's in every water. So you go to the bar, that water they
Yeah.
use at the bar, it has microplastics in it.
Well, and all the fish you eat, it accrues throughout as the
Well, we
the
have a
little fish gets
fishing.
eaten.
There's
Yeah.
a fishing problem now
So
with all the sushi.
basically,
And,
at a bar, you have to just drink tequila.
Yeah. Well, you'd be better off.
this is
Oh,
strained through charcoal, baby.
Well,
Yeah.
you're also thinking about the ice, because where does ice come from?
The same
Class?
H2O.
The freezer?
That's what I mean. If the water is
It's the
hooked
same
up,
source.
it's the same source. That's what I'm saying, is you're also getting
like,
it
basically,
when you
just give
when
it to
you
me neat.
are
Yeah.
getting it
Or
into.
give me the bottle only.
No kidding. No kidding. Well, this is a very smooth tequila.
It's beautiful.
It
I
is.
love it.
It reminds me a lot of drinking a rosé, actually, just in the tequila family. Like if the tequila had a crazy cousin from.
Yeah.
Not a crazy
So
cousin.
it makes it
I say-
rosé because it was made in red wine barrels.
Yes, so you're getting all those notes. This is Blanco
Yeah.
tequila that has
With-
been aged. Then they put it in the red wine barrels.
So normally when you have an aged tequila, whether it is a reposado or an añejo, and really the only difference is the amount of time that it is
Okay.
aged. It can be aged in whiskey barrels or it can be aged in oak barrels.
Yeah.
There are different ways of aging it, and those are, you're going to hear the term proprietary secrets quite a bit. So it really depends on the brand. It really depends on the type of tequila. But this just must be super unique with the red that it's absorbing, that the red wine has been sitting in. It certainly gives it a fun spin.
It
I would
does.
say it's innovative.
It is innovative. It has. So what we're tasting here is vanilla, butterscotch, and dry dark chocolate note. Blackberries, plums, and dark cherries. The finish is long, rich, and smooth, leaving the impression of chocolate-covered
I
chocolate.
have to say it's really beautiful. Like
Yeah,
the
it's
aftertaste is
sexy.
really nice.
It's nice. It's very summer. Like,
Every
I can sip
moment
this by
of
the
it
pool.
is really nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can sip this by the pool.
No, this would
And
be
you
great,
don't
like,
need that's the thing, you don't need a
post-pool.
mixer or anything. Like I think a lot of
Right?
people think you always have to have like alcohol with something. This is like beautiful in its pureness.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is-
we are drinking Spindrifter, which is one of our favorites, just to kind of have on the side to stay hydrated. It's not necessary. I wouldn't even call it a chaser
No.
because you're not trying to even put it in the
No.
same swallow. I guess. There
Are
we're
we-
done
yeah,
with the
are-
rating.
Yeah.
Wow. We're talking about swallowing on the
Well,
show.
You know what?
We are human.
Are
We are human. Do you guys know? I remember going to a bar. Specifically, I'm talking Saddle Ranch.
That's on Sunset.
I went.
Yes.
This one was in Universal City, but I went with a friend, and we said, "What kind of rosé do you have?" Because we were waiting to go into like an event at Universal Studios, and said, "What kind of rosé do you have?" And she said, "Well, I don't got any on the menu, but I can make you some." And we both, my friend and I, were like, "That is not how that works." And
yeah.
she goes, "Sweetheart," or it was honey, I grew up in wine country. Just tell me what you like. You like tannins, you like dry, you like sweet, you like fruity, you like crisp. And we're like, you can't make rosé. And she took, because she
I
made,
would pay to see
it was
this.
red wine, white wine, and she like topped it off with soda.
I was
And we
worried
were
she was
like,
going to put her
girl.
lipstick in the glass a little bit and give it
No,
everything. Okay.
no. Well, we actually didn't order it, but I think someone else ordered it, and she just made it, and we
It's
were
our
like, "Oh,
house-made
good
rosé."
thing that we obviously ordered tequila instead, but we were just kind of killing time. We were just
Yeah.
sort of trying to ease into the evening, and it was kind of happy hour, so why not have a glass of rosé? It was something warm outside, but a lot of people that I've talked to, having been involved in a winery for almost a decade now. Some people are not familiar with the process of how you actually make a rosé and
Yeah.
why is it pink and it tastes kind of more like a
A
white.
Yeah,
And it's just because you're still using the red grapes, but you're taking the skins off.
exactly.
So they're all red grapes. A lot of times you'll see a rosé of Pinot Noir from Oregon,
Yeah.
or something from Provence. It is a red grape, but you're taking the skin off, so it's still going to leave behind this pinkish color, which is exactly. I mean, it's not exactly what's happening here, but it's the
I learned something.
The
new.
it's
essence.
left behind,
And
it's
you get the essence. You
Yeah.
totally taste like this. Tastes like they call it Rosa Reposado, but it tastes like rosé tequila.
right. Rosa just means pink, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they call it. This is Reposado Rosa is what this is called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other new trend in tequila, which we mentioned a second ago, is Anejo Cristalino.
Is that your Cristal of the
Kind of. So it's
You
know,
heard it
So
here.
Actually,
hashtag?
I can't
The
think of
Cristal
his
of-
name.
It's
So
fancy.
actually, the first person to create clear añejo was Herrera, actually. Otra añejo.
Oh, really? See, I'm not a fan of Herradura because
I-
it's very peppery.
But they were the first.
They
Well,
were.
you know what? Points for innovation. That's
Yeah.
why one of our very first episodes was an episode from, it was Sauza v Cuervo,
Mhm.
because we were trying to pay homage and respects to the fact that they did it first and they made tequila a thing. So
Yeah.
they weren't our favorites, but they got points for making tequila what it is today, not
Yeah.
what it is today, but introducing it to the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so delicious.
So Anejo Cristalino, we're talking about our basic classifications of tequila are going to be silver, reposado, añejo. And silver is going to be clear. Reposado is going to be a light brownish. And then an añejo is going to be more of that richer caramel color. And really the only difference between that reposado and añejo is going to be the aging and how long it has aged. It's usually the same process. It's just the amount of time it spends in the barrels. But the Anejo Cristalino is a very new thing, and it comes out being completely clear and silver, like a silver, but it is an aged tequila.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it's just brighter. People say, we haven't had it yet. We will feature it on the show. People just say it tastes like añejo, but it's just clear.
And does it have it kind of that like nice thick
It's
feeling
the
of
same.
it?
It
Okay.
has a thick feeling.
Yeah, they said it's
Yeah.
bold. Like you feel like you're like, wow, weird. It's just that they filter it through the charcoal. It's like that, yeah. So it removes all the rich flavors. I mean,
so
it
it's
doesn't. It
vegan
does
because
not.
some wines are filtered through whale baleen tusks, right? Like the
What?
teeth.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
It's very specific.
Yeah.
So I was reading a lot. This is, I love to read about
You
nutrition and stay up on all the dates.
I know. I've changed all the nut milks I drink because of Cassandra. And when she was talking about supplements, I have to give it up to her. She's actually the supplement queen. And I'm always like watching her Instagram, like, no more oat milk. Jeez.
No more oat milk. It tastes like cardboard anyway. Good riddance.
No, I know. If you want to keep eating what you want to eat, sometimes don't go on Cassandra's Instagram.
But I find
No,
I find
actually
healthy
do.
substitutions
We're
for
so
everything.
aligned.
Yeah, and I make homemade pizza with my daughter all the time, and it is delicious. And people are like, "But is it really?" I'm like, "Yes, it is, or
It
I wouldn't
actually
keep
is.
doing it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
it's
be
deli-
doing it for years.
I've had it. Yeah.
I would have the nights where I'd say screw it and just order the
Yeah.
regular junk pizza, but we have fun doing it. It's something we enjoy together, and it is good when you get quality ingredients. You just kind of have to plan ahead as
Yeah.
opposed to winging it and just throwing whatever on
Like
there.
last minute and going to Ralph's.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. I have a question for you guys. Now that we're into it, we can refill as needed.
Who needs a refill?
Me.
I think we all need refills. These are very small glasses. We're excited to check out all of these new tequilas, and as Sherry and I have done before, we went to Barkeep in Silver Lake and really had a great conversation, and that's where this bottle came from. So shout out to Barkeep in Silver Lake. And it's great to be able to go into the store and it's really nice to poke around.
Is that okay for you?
I absolutely would trust the people from Barkeep to say, hey, just pick me out a cool bottle. Here's what I'm looking for, because they were so knowledgeable. And that's the importance of finding a good tequila source. But it's fun to go in and look at the bottles and start getting your brain going, because sometimes when you're talking to them and they say, well, this one has notes of blood orange or this one has notes of cinnamon, well, now I want to change what type of cocktail I want to make with it, right?
Yeah.
So it's always ideal.
Would
if
you make a
have
cocktail with this though? I
wouldn't.
It's
Yeah.
an
Not with this one.
it's an ultra high end luxury tequila,
Yeah.
which means it's sippy.
yeah.
This is gonna
Sippy.
sound crazy,
Getting sippy with it?
but I'm a little inspired. I would actually do like a Rosè. With
Like the popsicles that I made, the ones
yes,
that
I
are
would do like a
pureed fruit.
frozen strawberry situation, dab of coconut water, and then just put this on top.
Well, that's a note in it. Strawberries is a note. So.
Well, so what I do
so it
in the
depends on how you
summers,
pair it, because I can see this being a topper.
it could be a topper.
Of a
It can
frozen.
also be, what I do is I kind of make frozen margaritas. And last summer I did Rosè, where I take fresh raspberries and strawberries. And you can either take rosé, I've done blackberry basil margaritas, and then you pour them in the popsicle sleeves and stick them all in the freezer. And they take forever to freeze because there's alcohol in them. You have to make them like a week ahead of time. This is not an on a whim thing, but it's really fun if you have a party or an event where you want to just sort of mix up the cocktail offering. You only really have like 2 of them, because it's like you don't want to be sucking on a popsicle the whole time.
Sucking,
So I'll tell
swallowing.
you what are
you
I know,
guys
and I was
doing
listening
to
to
me?
So I'll tell you this.
Topper.
On our Cinco episode, I will get local strawberries, and we're going to try this.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Let's do it.
Let's
down.
do it.
I'm so down.
But when you can't go into the store, what do you do these days? You basically go on to GoPuff, Saucy, DoorDash, and you go on and you say, hey, I need something from Bevmo, or I think Saucy and GoPuff have their own stores. Remember back in the day, Pink Dot?
Yeah.
LA
I think
native?
that is so
I know.
expensive.
But
Jesus
now it's
Christ.
expensive. It didn't used to be that
It
expensive.
didn't used to be that
No,
expensive.
I don't know what they're doing now, but
Well, but you now go on and you put in your order, and not just for alcohol, but also food. And these services are nice. They are a luxury. But I personally want to talk about whether we think that the whole service fee and more importantly, tipping situation has gotten out of hand.
I mean, yes, I am a hardcore believer that tipping is connected to customer service. And
Yes.
despite what a company pays its employees, as a customer, that is not my concern when I'm going to eat or drink. And I think bad service is still bad service all over the world.
There is, I'm so, we talked about this on the way over, and I was like, am I going to come off as really like harsh with saying this? But this whole like situation with tapping now, and every time it's like 15%, or in our
For a
restaurants
drip
in Canada,
coffee, would
it's
you like to tip 25%
default
for the
is
$2?
28%, 25%. I'm going to be honest. Like DoorDash takes a lot from the place that they're doing, plus you pay a fee.
Yep.
So pay your employee. And I don't mind paying a tip on a service, but I agree with you. I think it's at the place where it's kind of out of hand. It's everywhere.
And it's also aggressive too. Like sometimes you'll be at dinner and they will assume their tip for you. It's like,
all the time.
Excuse me, no.
Well, there's like 18%. Remember, we all went out.
No, 28% in Canada. That's the default one. I'm like,
That's a goodbye, good night. I'm not paying you 100% of my bill and an additional 30%
on top of tax. And I don't know if you guys have tax. We have a lot of tax.
We have a lot of tax, especially in
This
LA.
ain't Texas. We got tax in California, I guess.
There's actually a lot of tax in Texas because we don't have income tax in Texas.
Look, you got to pay the man. You got to pay the man. You're going to pay taxes. You can't avoid it forever. You got to pay somebody.
That's true. But so I think one of the things that is even starting to bug me, and I worked in the service industry for over a decade. I
same.
had several different
I
jobs.
think everyone should work in the service industry.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, I knew that if I hustled for a table that I deserved a good tip. And it worked out that way most of the time. I also knew if I dropped the ball, that I didn't deserve a great
Yeah.
tip. And so if my tip was less than 20%, it's like, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair, because what you're paying for, I mean, an acronym TIPS is to ensure prompt service. That's where it comes from. You know, we're talking about 200 years ago. I don't know how long the term was around.
Very long time ago.
Right, but now that also just kind of used to be, when I was a server in Texas, I was making $2.13 an hour, which was allowed. It was an exception to minimum wage because they assume that you're making tips.
That's the same thing that we always had, is a lower wage.
But also, if you're down to hustle, and clearly there are some slower days where you're like, man, this shift wasn't worth coming in. I'm not really making any money. There's also, on the flip side of that, you have a really busy weekend and you get a huge party and you make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And if you don't like that and you're not willing to hustle for the service and the customer service, then you should probably go work in retail or somewhere where there is a fixed hourly
100%.
wage.
I agree.
And commission, yeah.
Yeah, I think
worked retail.
Yeah, I
Boutique
think
though.
when you go to a restaurant and it's 18% gratuity included no matter what, I have an issue. Because I'm like, what do you mean no matter what?
Well,
Like,
the people
yeah.
aren't inspired to
That's
hustle.
like Miami
Well, they
Beach,
know that they're
Ocean
getting
Drive.
And you
It's
get-
automatic.
but you usually get terrible service when it's included.
You-
And,
Yes,
and
that's true.
especially during this pandemic, because there's a lot of people who you get this feeling that, oh, you're lucky to be in here, instead of, we're so lucky to have you. Thank you for coming to spend your money
We're
here.
excited to serve you. We're
Yeah.
excited to
Yeah.
nourish you.
But they give their bad service because they know that it's included. So it's like, oh, I know
Absolutely.
I'm getting my cut. So it's just like, I'll give you what I want to give you,
Well,
Yeah.
which
I
is
did-
what I'm not okay with.
I'm not
Even
okay with
with
either.
DoorDash and Postmates, and by the way, I think Postmates is the worst service. They always have so many hiccups. Their customer service is non-existent. Every single order, I deleted the app because everything I've ever gotten
Should
from
I
them
delete
has
my
been
app too?
wrong. Yeah, they're tracking your info,
Listen,
buddy.
we got one choice in Canada, and it's DoorDash. So I'm hearing about these cream
DoorDash is
puffs and
okay.
whatever else you guys have.
But my
Go puff.
issue with cream puffs, and the rating is going to be through the roofs on this one. We're going to be rated X by the end of the episode. Is that a cream puff or cream pie?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Who's the topper? So with DoorDash, or even when you, like, for example, I remember this happening maybe like 7-8 years ago, and being on vacation and going to a spa and being super pumped because it was like a nice hotel and I was making a whole afternoon out of it, brought my book ready to zen out for the day because I love a spa, right? And I go and they just said, we actually check you out at check-in. We get your
Yeah.
card because we are going to let you stay and use the facilities as long as you like, and you can leave when you want to go. We also have a back door that leads to the pool, and you can just whatever. Can we just get your card for the services? And I said, absolutely no problem. Here's also my room number, whatever. And they go, okay, and what type of gratuity would you like to leave for your massage? And I'm like, I don't know. I haven't had it yet. What if it's awful? Also, if it's great, I have no problem leaving 30%.
Same.
Absolutely.
This is a problem
No,
with
you also leave
assumptions.
more,
And
yeah.
it's gotten to a place where tips are some sort of assumptions that
Well,
no matter what happens in this place, you're giving 20%.
Then
no
just
matter
add
what.
it to the
And I
bill. Why are
get
you
it.
even
Yeah.
asking?
and well, the problem is that everything's higher.
Yeah.
But they're also including 18% gratuity.
Yeah.
Everything's $3 to $4 higher.
It's
The
like
pro-
they expect from other people when it's their circumstance. It's like, yes, I get it, that's your job, but that's also not our fault that that's your
Yeah.
job.
Well-
and it's hard for you. And it's like, that is your job, unfortunately.
And we've all been there.
Yes,
we've
I was a
all
server.
been there,
And
but you
I'm not
cannot
coming from a place where I haven't
expect-
been there.
Right, and when I served and I bartended and I was a hustler, honey.
Yeah.
I had my
Yeah, we're all
regulars.
hustlers.
You
Go
go
I
make that money.
I would
It's like
make
building
that-
my brand in studio. Like, I don't expect my clients to tip me.
Right.
I don't expect shit from anyone, to be honest.
That's
But-
actually a rule of thumb in life. You know,
Yeah.
you should.
Well,
'Cause
I
that's
don't
how
get
you
tipped.
make
And
your-
I will put blood, sweat, and tears and 110% into everything that I do, because that's the integrity I want to have.
Yeah.
Yep. And I know I'm never getting a tip,
Mhm.
and nor would I want one. But that's how I operate.
Just do
I-
your best and perfect your craft.
Do you guys remember the days where you would just scope out the restaurants in your neighborhood that they'd have the paper to go menus and you have a drawer in your kitchen and you put
Oh,
all the
I miss
menus and
that.
you call the restaurant directly? And so an interesting thing too about Postmates, DoorDash, all of that stuff is, Genieve, you're right. They definitely charge you a $3.99 delivery fee, and usually it's like a 19% service fee or something
Yeah.
ridiculous. But what they don't know, and as somebody who has worked who's involved in restaurants here as well, they upcharge the pricing. So for
Yeah, they
example, you order a poke bowl, and if you walk into the poke bowl restaurant, it's 75 cents to add avocado. If you do it on DoorDash, it's $2. And they pay 25% to DoorDash as a commission.
Oh, no, that's what I mean. They're dipping from you
Yep.
and they're dipping from the restaurant.
So-
So they're getting a lot. And it's
They
crazy.
are,
But
and-
I'll tell you this, Cassandra. You learned how to make a hand roll this weekend.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I never
What
knew
do we
there
do
was such a thing.
now? You make your own poke bowl.
You
That's
make your
right.
own
No
poke.
kidding. I have a
Got
little
the
bit of fish
skill.
left in the freezer.
Yes.
That love that.
Yes.
I guess my having worked on the server side, host side, et cetera, of restaurants for a very long time, and then also now in this DoorDash era, and being on the business side of it, I would say that always call the restaurant first. Because if you order it, sometimes they actually will have, one of my favorite local restaurants has a local delivery driver. They just send a busser up anytime someone in the neighborhood. You have to be in the
I feel
neighborhood.
So terrible now.
But you call and you see, first of all, do you have a delivery driver? And most of the time they're going to be like, we don't do that anymore. Just use DoorDash, whatever.
Yeah.
But also, if you're going to be out and about and you say, I don't have time to cook dinner, it is better for you to call the restaurant directly and place an order to go
I agree.
and pick it up on the way home.
Yeah. Or call, I know in the pandemic, some restaurants are like, we're quitting DoorDash. You got to come in, or we have one driver.
Because
I
it was
do-
eating all of their money.
Well, I think that's,
so
people,
hardworking.
look,
It's
tech-
hard to work in a
But
restaurant.
technology, this is the dark side of technology. It's like sometimes the easy way out, or what seems convenient at first, ends up being a major inconvenience to the business owner, to the customer,
Yeah.
and the worker. And I say this because DoorDash makes like billions of dollars a year.
Oh,
And these restaurants, some of them are mom and pop spots who don't have 5 in one city or 10 restaurants. So for them, I say hire drivers, hire some high school kids. who
Well,
drive.
especially if they may be locally pooled. You maybe get 3-4 restaurants on the same block.
Right.
That pooled someone. I think too, I mean, restaurants are just doing their best, especially during the pandemic. A lot of restaurants did DoorDash only or pick up or to go only. And if you have DoorDash coming in and taking 20 to 25% of your pricing, then no wonder they're not able to give their servers increases, because they're not making any money off the food. They're like breaking even on the food.
yeah, and just getting even back to the service charges is like, I really am always looking for meaning, and it feels really good for me to tip somebody really well because it means something.
And
You
also
know?
too, because I'm an empath. But like I remember during the pandemic, or like the trending videos of Lyft drivers, Uber drivers, Postme drivers, all of those drivers, they would post videos crying that no one tipped them. So for me,
I never saw
when
this.
I know that, I'm like, let me do my part. Like that's
Yeah.
just what I think automatically. Let me tip them. Like I will never be the person to give that person who's crying on camera that experience. So yes, I tip if you're doing a great job, but I just tip them because it's just
I also
It's-
like tipping directly.
I-
I'd rather
I
hand
tip
them
every
cash
time.
at the door as
Yeah.
opposed to doing
Yeah.
it through the app.
Yes.
So a lot of times I put $0 as a tip, and if there's a place for notes, I'll say tip in cash, and I always say hand it to me, do not leave at door, because even during peak COVID, you could still put on a mask for 4 seconds and do a handoff at the door outside, and I know people were scared, and that was a concern when we
honestly
didn't
we're
know.
cozy. I'm like,
Giving
just leave it
handies
at the door. I'll get it in 5 minutes.
But I like to give people a cash tip and look them in the eye and say thank you so much.
Well,
I prefer that.
I agree. And, I think one thing that the U.S. has done really well is that I'm very worried about Canada and not using cash anymore.
Well, that should be majorly. So this is my story. 2 weeks ago, I was by myself, and I was at a restaurant picking up where I live, and I had cash, and he said, we don't accept cash.
No.
And I said, there's...
This is legal tender.
This
if you
is
take,
legal tender.
There-
call the police.
I said, my dinner was $62.99.
Yeah.
I said, here is $75 or $80 because I
Whoa.
tipped. Yeah, I tipped because I had a bunch of modifications. My husband has like
Okay.
dang allergies, and I always feel bad. I'm like, don't add this, that. well, I'll sit here. You can call the authorities. This is the United States of America. Legal. This is
Call the
money
police
that
and tell them I
earned.
didn't give your preferred payment method,
Yeah.
but here's your money right
And
here.
I'm like, I'm not paying with it. He was like, you don't have a credit card? Of course I have credit cards, but I have
that's also
cash.
not his business.
But,
a lot of people
but
don't
also,
have credit
what
cards.
kind of assumption do we have that everyone has a credit card?
Well, that's
What
true.
if you have a criminal record? What
Yes.
if you don't have 2 pieces of ID?
Right.
What if you don't have an address?
Or what if you're on bank
That is
systems? You can be on
marginalizing
bank.
people
Yes,
further.
it
I
is.
have no tolerance for this
Yeah.
anymore.
I can't. They're doing that. So they're doing no cash, all no cash in Canada, or like at some spots.
A lot of
They
spots.
blamed
and-
COVID, but I don't think it was COVID.
I don't think so either. Do you not think Staph aureus and friggin' every type of herpes is on every dollar bill that you have?
Right.
Sorry,
Yeah,
it is.
it is.
And has been since the dawn of time.
Right.
People
I
wipe their
remember-
assholes with money.
At the
I don't
beginning
know.
of COVID, I was told to
They were in
microwave
strip
cash because the
clubs.
microwave kills the bacteria and virus.
I never
Okay,
microwave.
I don't
cash.
know if that actually works.
I don't
but
even
that's
use
what
my
I was told.
microwave.
Maybe dry it in the
sorry.
dryer.
Germs
Well, you're not eating
on
the
money
cash.
is
Or no,
not a
just
new
leave it
thing.
in the sun.
Mhm.
What do you like? It goes through hands and hands and hands. It's been through some cartel at some point.
Yeah.
There is germs on
That has been
money.
on some strippers' coochie.
Ooh,
Of course
yes.
it has
That's why
been.
you wash your hands with money. But look, I love
Wait,
cash.
Shannon, how do you spell coochie again?
COOCHIE.
Is that what's in Lady Marmalade? Is it like coochie coochie?
No,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
That's
Gitchy,
gitchy
gitchy.
gitchy.
Oh,
Gitchy,
is
If
it
you
the same
speak
thing?
French, I feel like you would know
Oh,
this.
is Gitchy and is
Is
Gitchy
Gitchy
coochie?
and coochie the same thing?
Actually,
coochie in
speaking
French.
of cooch, there is a wax place local on Melrose. The name of their wax salon is called Cooch.
I kind of like that. Let's give things back its original name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Cooch.
And I love that it's one word, Cooch.
We had a Texas version of that. We called them cooters.
Cooters. I know Cooters.
Yeah.
But that's like
Was that your
cooties.
version of Hooters?
Cooter.
I
So it
actually
was a
love
bar
their tater
restaurant?
tots.
No, it is slang for vagina.
Are you talking about tater tots?
Yeah, back
You
in the
don't
day.
eat carbs, please.
No, that was
Please.
years
He does.
ago.
No, he does eat French fries. Look, I see it.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm the only one who eats carbs at the same
So,
just so you know.
Since we have you here, we've got the battle of the wellness experts right here to the left and to the right. And you guys both do different types of exercise and function and are very into supplements and nutrition and medicine. And I know that you guys actually see eye to eye and align on a lot of things. We do a lot of recovery tequila cocktails here. We do a lot of hydrating, immunity boosting, and a lot of things to offset just a drinking, traveling, active lifestyle in general. Because if you're working out, you're breaking those muscle fibers. And if you're not putting things like magnesium, potassium back in your body and you go out and drink, you're going to get that weird Charlie horse in your calf the next day.
Yeah.
So we always preach balance here at Team Tequila Talks. We talk about this almost every episode, if not every episode. You, more than anybody I know, one of the reasons that we were excited to have you on is because you really embody the lifestyles that we all live with. Eating the rainbow, being selective with what goes in your body, detox to retox, getting that sweat, but also living your life. If you were going to give the peoples a little bit of advice in terms of balance, or what do you find is something that works for you with balancing enjoying yourself, being social, having a couple drinks, but also being a mega wellness enthusiast and influencer?
For 8 years, I didn't drink because I had a postpartum depression, and I thought, oh, if I have caffeine or alcohol, I'm going to lose it and go crazy. And it was a really tough time. And so I set all these really rigid rules, which is actually a very much an out of balance state, right? It's creating rules that don't allow for balance and our set stories, right? We all know that these set stories have been hardwired in us that you need to work a 9-to-5 job and get a white picket fence. And sorry, those stories aren't going to work anymore because no one can buy a house.
The real estate market is a battlefield
Don't
out
even
there.
get me
Doesn't
started.
matter where you live.
So
really.
yeah, one day I had a girlfriend who's like, why don't you try a margarita? And I was like, well, I can't. Why? Well, I had a postpartum depression. Well, you know, so I think for me, not to make the story too long, is that the more we listen to our body, the more our body is going to tell us, right? So if you're listening to your body and it feels not very great after eating a cupcake, then maybe that much sugar in one shot isn't good for you.
Yeah.
And if you're not hydrating, the minute we stop listening to our body is when we overeat or we undereat or we exercise too much and don't take recovery or we're into inertia and we're not exercising. I think once you start being really in tune, which includes meditation and movement and actually sitting down when you eat, which I still haven't gotten there yet, but I'm working on it. So
we try our best.
truly, I think it's listening. right? And I think all of us are very good at that, actually, is listening.
Yes.
That, like, you know, I can have a night where I am completely embodied in what our party is and drinking, but hydrating. And then I know the next day my body needs to be rehydrated and my body needs to move and I need to have a quieter day. So I think that the deeper we listen, the more we're able to live a life that is in balance.
Do you find that you have any particular routine or supplement, whether by routine I mean it could be going in a sauna or doing something more calming like
Your
yoga
default.
or more
What's your
invigorating
default?
like
Yeah.
a HIIT workout? If you are in general saying, okay, I'm going to go have a fun weekend with my friends, looking forward to this one, by the
Yeah.
way, what is your go-to to balance that out?
After the weekend?
Before or after?
Before is pre-hydration, for sure. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't even matter if you're touching alcohol, is like get hydrated, because if you're going to be dancing your butt off or in a hot climate, is get like, and kind of movement every day, actually. And whether that's when you're dancing, when you're at the thing that because you're moving your lymphatics, you're eliciting neurotransmitters. And then the recovery for me, I'm big into baths and orgasms. I think that those are,
So you're speaking Sherry's language now.
Yeah, I do want to say something to Genieve before you guys close out this episode. What I truly admire and love about you, that you're also in wellness, and you never ever judged me, and I finally like actually moves my body in a class with you, and I will never forget that. So I commend you, I respect you, and I love you.
I love you too.
Working out with these two together is, holy smokes, it is an experience and just this synergetic vibe. We did an amazing tag team workout where Genieve started, then Mark came in, and then Genieve finished, and they coordinated on the playlist and the movements. Like, okay, you're going to do the obliques, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do the cardio, and you're going to do the active recovery. And it was so much fun. I had a lot of friends tap out because Sherry and I are apparently fucking crazy people, and we work out a bunch more. We're like, doesn't everybody work out this much? And everybody was like, no.
Like
row.
I think working out is my like meditation. I can't think when I work
You're
out.
an active meditator.
It's my healing.
Yeah.
For
I
me,
just
that's
love it.
cooking.
Yeah.
I don't think about anything else when I'm in the kitchen and I'm creating.
This
Can't
is why
wait.
we're all connected.
Okay, well, we are going to wrap it up. Genieve, to put a button on it, to put a pin on it. Am I missing this?
It's a button.
It's a
No,
button?
let's say
Okay.
seal the
It's a
deal.
button.
We're going to seal the deal. What is your all-time favorite tequila cocktail? Or sipper, tequila beverage. Tequila beverage. Oh, I put her on the spot. I feel like there's some thinking. I'm glad you're putting some thought into it, though. You're not just throwing this away. I mean, like, this one, it was great. Thanks so much for having me.
I know. Don't be boring.
I knew, no, that's exactly what I was thinking in my head, is that I'm so boring.
No, but you like what you like. You like clean. You like direct. You like direct. We were talking about this in the car.
love
You are
a
not
very
boring. Look at
clean
that skirt.
margarita
Hello.
with like just pressed lime and amazing tequila and a little bit of salt.
Yeah.
I'm
Great.
a purist, I
You're
think.
minimalist, which is great. I love that.
Purist. I like purist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Minimalism's on its way out. Maximalism's back in.
No, it's
No,
not. Minimalism is not on
Don't
its way
you
out.
go say
As someone who is actively involved in a lot of design, the Scandinavian minimalism was so 20 teens. It is now all
Well,
about
that's good because
dark
my kids call me
academia.
extra.
It's all about maximalism. We'll talk. We'll talk.
yes.
On that note, we're going
It's
to
wabi
cheers.
sabi, actually.
Cheers. Cheers.
Because
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
well, maybe I have to come back next week. That's all.
You know,
You can come
I
back as many
love-
times as you want.
Absolutely.
Just move to LA. Bring the
Yeah.
kids.
Dr.
So much.
Genieve Burley House, check her out on Instagram. It's always inspirational, it's always fun, and it's just a good vibe if you are just even looking to experiment in wellness or you want to build out your, make you laugh too, your wellness network. As always, the House of Strong. Mark Strong was with us, and he has an Instagram page to be rivaled with. You can check us out as well at Team Tequila Talks, Instagram, YouTube, all the things. And thanks for coming and listening this week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.